Prince of Persia The Lost Crown just released a new expansion DLC called Mask of Darkness. I was super excited to play this DLC and I totally loved it. Before I share more about the DLC, I just want to thank Ubisoft for providing me the early copy of the game. But I won't try to sugarcoat about my thoughts about this DLC. I will just give up my straight up first impression about the DLC. I don't accept the review code unless I am personally interested in the game. In past, I have covered all the update regarding this game, but this one got a little late. So Mask of Darkness DLC provide various type of complicated combat and platforming challenges and new bosses to fight with some new great rewards for Sargon. In order to access the DLC, you must complete the main game up to a certain point where Sargon gets the Shadow of the Simurgh and escape the depth mission. Then you need to go to the heaven. You will see Neith. After interacting with her, she will ask you to meet her in Lower City, which leads to location Mask of the Darkness, where Sargon finds another Simurgh feather, which turned out to be fake one. It was trapped by one of the immortal member called Rajdan. Now I don't want to go much into the story, but I will say the game tells the story in a storytelling way, and there is a mention of time powers where I was able to connect few dots of the main storyline with this DLC, which I'm like, oh, this is how it went, and this time it will be different in the end. You will know when you play the game for yourself. After you enter the Radiant place, some of the powers and upgrade will strip off from the Sargon. You will start off with 3 or 4 HP bars, I think. And also, amulets you collected from the main campaign or from the Divine Trials won't be available in this DLC. So you are purely starting as fresh from start, which gives a little worry to players like me. I thought this DLC will be walk in the park, but I was wrong. It's not a bad thing. I kind of like challenging stuff, so I was ready for anything until I found this boss. This eye boss was nightmare. He was catching me all the time, and I had to restart from this very beginning, which was very painful at start. And plus, the platforming object was disappearing at the same time, which was nightmare. So I had to calculate my ways of using the time power, trick the eye boss. So after clearing the first level of the DLC, you will be thrown at this Radiant Palace. The whole location called the Radiant Palace, it is divided into two sections called the East Wing and the West Wing. And there is third section which will get unlocked after you complete the East and the West Wing. Also, you can go back to the main campaign anytime. You just need to go back to the bottom of the center of the map. There is a walk tree on the left. There is a portal. Through that, you can go and come back anytime as you like. You also shouldn't worry about which section you should go first. You could either start from left or either right. It won't be any problem. But I would recommend to go with the left. For most people, it is easy section, but according to me, it was hardest compared to the right. The environment and the art is also amazing. It totally gives a spooky and scary vibe. If you have noticed that walk tree also changed to the DLC theme. Really like the attention of detail they have put in this DLC, and these trees are placed very far from the last trees. You can just see on the map how devastating it is. Just imagine you died when you are just about to getting this close to your next walk 3 and now you died. You have to start all over again from your first respawn point. Truly a torture. Let's look on the combat section. It's a thumbs down. Combat is surely not the strongest point of this DLC. If you have completed the main campaign, then you wouldn't miss much. But the DLC added a few new enemies which kind of elevate the difficulty and intensity of combat. For example, like the Black Spectre, who can disappear in thin air and come back from behind, which really cuts your flow of aerial combat. And when his chakra comes back to you, he also does the aerial attack at the same time, put you in a very vulnerable state if you aren't quick enough. And last, when his health is low, he will go berserk mode where your attack won't stagger or flinch him anymore. And if you're not careful, he might land some strong attack while you finish your combo. And there is other one who can fly, whose attack failed to land on Sargon. That projectile can explode, and she can cast a ground spell. If you stand on that area, your movement will be slowed down heavily. And the third common enemy is my favorite, is the puppeteer. How the strings are attached to his arms and legs. He's easy to kill, but look-wise, I think it's a very good design for a common enemy. And to make it more intense combat, they will put you in a very closed area with these enemies plus eye tracker boss, and your only way is to fight out the situation. And there is also a elite boss, not a mini boss, which is in gold crabby. I don't want to talk about him. He was very painful for me to handle it. Now the best part about the DLC is platforming section. It's a big thumbs up for me. Platforming in these things is too challenging, dodging the spike wheels and maintaining the correct flow of jump on disappearing object. Plus, they have added new mechanic where Sargon can hold on to a cylindrical shape just like the POP trilogy, and the jump pads and short portal which can help Sargon to reach the other end of the portal. And as you progress to new area, these platforming challenges gets harder and harder, so be careful. Some of the platforming challenges are nightmare that can make you quit the game. Also, there is life upgrades and potions which are placed on this palace. In order to get those, you have to go through the madness of the platforming challenge. In terms of rewards in this DLC, you will be getting a new outfit called Shadows and 3 amulets which you have to collect through side exploration of combat and platforming. These amulets can be used in the main campaign and on the DLC too. The first amulet you get to unlock is the Vampire Chakran. When you trigger the area damage, each hit increases the amount of health restored once the Chakran has returned to the Sargon. The second amulet you will get is called the Seal of Fate. So while in the mid-air, if you stomp on the ground, a blue seal will be placed on the ground and it will explode with the contact with the enemy or projectile. The third amulet you get to unlock is called the Vengeance Reservoir. So after a parry, you can launch a counter attack by pressing the light attack. Can be stacked up to 5 parries, which will allow Sargon to do a very strongest uppercut to the enemy. It also gives 2 new bosses to fight. One is obvious, the Razden, the main villain of the Mask of the Darkness DLC. And after you complete the DLC, you will unlock the second boss fight, which is Artaban, the Sargon mentor, which you can easily find on the Heaven at the top. Last, to complete a DLC, you need total 2 to 3 hours, depend on which difficulty you are playing. This DLC also added new achievements in the game. Who love to collect achievement, it's a good news for them. Alright, that was my thought, opinion, and expression to the game left on me. You let me know what you think about the new expansion DLC, Mask of the Darkness of Prince of Persia The Lost Crown. It is available on a Ubisoft Store or Steam or Epic Store, PS5, Xbox Series X or S, or Nintendo Switch. Again, thank you guys for watching. Hope this video clear your thought about everything of this DLC. And thank you Ubisoft for providing me the copy of the DLC game. Alright, see ya, bye bye, I will see you in the next one.